All right, my watch list for Monday. Starting with Angie's list, ANGI. Huge volume day, looks like what, Wednesday, and then a couple days back down on decreasing volume. This one could be ready to turn back up. A lot of times after a gap up, a stock will go into a range, so you could argue that it's nearing the bottom of that gap up day range. Looking for a bounce on that one. Only with a proper intraday setup on Monday. Garmin, GRMN. 1, 2, 3 red days in a row down to this 49 support area from, let me get a line here. From early October. And it's gotten there in a hurry from 57. So I'm going to watch that 49 area for a potential bounce on GRMN. ASTI, we had a really nice trade in that one on Thursday. Friday didn't do anything with it. It's just a quiet inside day, but I like this. It's a lot of times these come down a day or two and you get another second leg. So that one goes on watch for a potential move higher. Again, only with a proper intraday setup on Monday. GOGO's kind of interesting here. It's had resistance. Well, let's see what these highs are. You see the 200 days right there too. Around 1640-ish. I can put a line there real quick. And you can see the volume on Friday. So this one might be ready to break higher. You can kind of picture a trend line here. Yeah, this one, I mean, it looks pretty good over, well, let's see what Friday's high was. 1646. I'll say over 16 and a half. This one could, and then you've got the resistance here at 17, which is also another potential breakout point. If you get through that too. So I like the setup here on GOGO, and I like the volume on Friday. So let's see, MBLY. This one is a little obscure. There's nothing that compelling about this chart other than MBLY moves pretty nicely when it moves. You can see it's you know, it hasn't been trading that long. I'll draw a trend line here for you real quick. It's not that hard to see the trend line, right? So what's compelling about this? Why am I expecting a bounce? Well, who knows, for one, if it's going to bounce. But when you zoom in a little bit, okay, you had some low. This low back here was 35.70. Right here again, 35.50. So the 35 and a half area is holding. It held all of these days. And then let's take Friday's candle out of it. Look what happened. All of a sudden, it's breaking down below 35 and a half. Looks like a pretty good short setup, right? Like it's going to start getting fast to the downside. Well, then you throw in Friday's candle, and you kind of had it engulfed Thursdays, and look at the volume. The volume was better. So if I don't even know, I think maybe on an unusual volume scan, I stumbled across this one this weekend, and that's how I found it, because there's nothing compelling about the chart, but when you look at it in depth here, this one might have bottomed right here. You know, there's not, a lot of people say it's got to have capitulation, and they may be right. But it's interesting to me, this little push down to 35, and then they were buying it all day, right? So just keep this one on your radar. This isn't a chart that I say, oh my God, this is beautiful, it's going to rip. It's one of those obscure charts that I think deserves to be on watch all week next week. And then Gene, I have avoided this one quite a bit once it got crazy to the upside. But 3 sessions ago it was 11 bucks, and now it's down to 6. So this one is starting to get interesting. Keep this one on radar now. I mean, if this one maybe sells off early on Monday, you might get a quick reversal, or just a narrow range and then a break of its early high. There's several different scenarios I'll be looking for in Gene, but I wouldn't mind one more big red day, and then we might have a really nice bounce. But it's to the point now where I want to have it on a chart. Okay, TEX. I don't have a trigger price on this one. I would just note the relative or the recent strength in it. This huge pop here, then it gapped down and sold off, and look, it's right back up near that 28 again. Well, not that close, 27.31, but just keep this one on your radar. I don't have a specific price that I'm looking for. I think this might take you know, another week or two to resolve, and then maybe you have a really nice breakout over 28. So just keep that in your in your mind, or on a chart on one of your monitors somewhere. And then this Kate had issues. I mean, got killed after the gap up here. Got killed, then bounced to almost 34 bucks. Then got killed again, and it's been climbing its way higher, and it broke through 34 about a week ago. flagged a little bit and is right back up there again. So the high from about a week ago was 34.19. If this gets back through 34, might get through that 34.19 and make a decent move. So couple that with the fact that Coach, another purse maker, is kind of breaking out of somewhat of a similar pattern. So, you know, if Coach continues strength, I think Kate over 34 might be worth looking at. And that is the list I'm going to start with. We always look for reversal plays as well. I'm sure you've seen them in some of my videos, the kind of reversals we look for, and some gap plays. We'll be stalking on Monday morning and all week as well. All right, so I'm going to leave the list at that. Appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.